the revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.
Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, our Kings. I bet you're sick of me. 20 minutes yesterday, you got to do a bit today. Mad.
Right. It is what it is, mate. What you got for me?
Got a few bits. First off, what fuels your fight? What gets you out of bed on a morning?
I don't know. I sometimes wonder why I work like I do. I obviously love what I do. Definitely the will to win, or the want to win, to be the best. And it's kind of like, sadly, my dad has sometimes called me his project. And I'm like, thank you, Dad. It's very nice. I'm also your son. But it's basically been drilled into me. And it doesn't mean that it's right. And it doesn't mean, that's another thing that I've learned, it doesn't mean that what I think is right for everybody's life, but it kind of has worked for mine, which is the two things that you can control that aren't part of God's plan or aren't part of fate, which is hard work and consistency. They're two things that you're responsible for. Now, opportunities or openings, or I believe, comes from that, but you can't control that. You can only control the hard work and consistency. So I just know that if I work as hard as I can, as consistently as I can, with the ability that I think I've got, that we're going to win. And if I don't do that, we won't win. So it probably makes no sense at all. But the real fuel for the fire is my love for boxing. That's the bottom line. And that's something that I've had since I was 8 years old. Since I first went to Tottenham to watch Bruno Buchner or Cliff's Pavilion to watch one of my dad's shows in Southend. That's an obsession with the sport that's never left me.
Can I ask you, do you still feel like you're trying to maybe live up to the standard that your dad set? Does that play a part now, or are you at that point where you've been doing it that long, it's like almost trying to better yourself?
I think as a son, you always want to make your dad proud. You always want him to turn around and go, and I think I've done that. I think I've well eclipsed him as a boxing promoter. I mean, that's by his own, he never did shows internationally, did a huge amount. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame promoter. How I'm not Hall of Fame yet, I guess it's something you just get with age.
When you retire?
Yeah, maybe. But, so no, I don't think I'm trying to prove anything to him. I don't know, just I go for myself as well, I think you got to be very selfish to be a high achiever, very selfish. So a lot of it is, you want to do well for the business, for the family, but also for me.
Right, we'll get back to the boxing now. Jordan Thompson looks an absolute specimen on the scales, doesn't he? Came into this big underdog. He looks at home at heavyweight. Maybe not in the ring yet, we haven't seen that, but you just get a feeling looking at him and say his fella he's in is a very good fighter, but I think slowly as this fight's coming, everyone's getting...
It is, and it's like, Pero is a guy who is an unbelievable talent. A lot of people looking at him as a potential future world heavyweight champion. He's got some decent wins, but nothing major. And he's got a position in the world rankings because of the belt that he's got and defending it, that he's got to number 3 in the world. So by beating Lenihan Pero, you nick his world rankings and you become right in the mix for all big fights. So Jordan Thompson's thinking, look, rather than going out and fighting an 8-rounder, I'm going to go and roll the dice. I think I can beat Pero. And, head-to-heads don't win fights, but Jordan looks very comfortable in this fight. I mean, he's 38 pounds heavier than he was when he fought Jai Opetaia. 38 pounds. And he's not put on any weight. That's the number that he would have been before he came back down to make the cruiserweight limit. And when he fought Opetaia, he had the 10-pound hydration, a 12-pound hydration group, which is brutal. So, but the key, really, if you're going to have that type of fight, is the resilience up at heavyweight. And I think his resilience and his sturdiness will be much improved with the extra weight. because I don't think the way that he was depleting himself, I don't think he could have had that sturdiness on the chin. And you need that heavyweight, unless you chin someone early, which he's capable of doing as well. He's very fast, he's very heavy-handed. But this is a big step up. But like you say, the amount of people that have come up to me in the last few days going, he looks good, doesn't he? I said, yeah, he's good. But you've got to do it on the night.
Absolutely. Look, I want to ask you, I was on Twitter this morning. I tend to stay off it because it's a fucking cesspit. Yeah. Anyway, the video came up of the convention. You've probably seen it, so I'm going to ask you. Tom Dallas's comments says about Ben Whittaker in the rankings. He's had quite a few 10-round victories. I don't think his previous promoters were pushing him like they should have done, etc. And there's a few comments on there basically saying, look, bit of a cheap dig, you've already got him signed up. What do you make of it? I know it's a bit of a touch one, obviously, in Matchroom, but what do you think?
I mean, you ain't got to worry about Tom Dallas causing aggravation. He's one of the most placid, straightforward, straight operators going. I loved it. And what the reason he's doing that is he's trying to give a reason as to why that he wasn't pushed before, right? Because when you have a fighter like Ben Whittaker, the first thing you should be doing is at the convention. When they have a ratings meeting at the convention, it's your job to push your fighter in the top 15 of the rankings. So you have to stand up and give an explanation as to why. And Tom Dallas's explanation was, this guy is a silver medalist, just coming off a great win against Liam Cameron. He's one of the top prospects in the world, and I appreciate he might not have been pushed before, but we're here to push him. I don't know if Boxxer are even at the convention. So that's just part of the job. It wasn't, Tom's not a cheap big guy, but it's true, isn't it?
Did you have a wry smile though?
It went in a group, and I'll tell you what happened. Because it was quite unusual for Tom, right?
I was just surprised that my timeline when I went on there was a Tom Dallas video, let alone what the comments were saying.
Yeah, so it went the video went out, and someone went, oh, he put, fuck's sake, Tom Dallas. Frank Smith said, oi, oi. And I said, yes, Tom, love it, you dirty dog. And Jamie went, Ben Shalom is terrified, Dallas is on fire. Yeah? And then Jaya said, yes, go on the brandy, bro. And that was it. Because it was quite un-Tom Dallas-like. But if I'm a fighter, like Ben Whittaker, I'm watching that video going, fucking yes. And that's our jobs.
Looking forward to Ben Whittaker's debut coming up, obviously, in a few weeks. A lot of hype built around him. But, look, we know this has sort of been, I wouldn't say a long time coming, but we saw the old promo video got put up with the money getting thrown around. Yeah. It must feel like a bit of a full circle moment for you guys.
For sure. We wanted to represent Ben Whittaker when he turned pro, but we understand everyone comes in and does something crazy and threw just mad money, and he had to take it. And it's good that now he's had those fights and we're ready to make an assault on the world rankings properly.
How long do you think it will be for him? And it's hard to say this, but obviously Gaza is going to be a difficult opponent for him. A lot of people are saying this, that and the third, but how long before we see Ben in these big fights?
He's still inexperienced as a professional. The only real live fight he's had is against Liam Cameron, and when he got it right, you saw what happened. He's not been brought through, in my opinion, or match made in the right way. So what we're doing now is we're going to be going through good competitive guys, and we're going to be building him for the big fights. There's 3 different levels at light heavyweight. You've got Bivol, Betabev, Benavidez. Then you've got Callum, Boatzy, Yard. Then you've got Richards, Aziz, Hutchinson. So we know where we are, and that third level is the fights that are approaching very quickly. Before he fights a Yard and a Cal, he needs the experience. He's as good as those guys, but he's not been in. And we're not going to mess it up just because some geezer on Twitter says he should be fighting Benavidez next month. We're going to do it properly because we've got a superstar. We've got a diamond on our hands.
Got to ask, I saw Devin Haney's comments on the Ariel Hawaiian show. Your name got brought up. I want to know what you make of this. So when he was talking about matchmakers, and obviously he's worked with Top Rank, he's worked with yourself, he said Top Rank, and we know that Top Rank are the best matchmakers in boxing. They'll matchmake their guys and put them in opportunities to win, to look good. So he's saying that they're the best. But on the other hand, and he says to you, is it's a compliment, but the way he said it was kind of not. So I want to know your thoughts. You just put, Eddie Hearn's great at building fighters, but he will put guys in tough fights and they'll fuck around and lose. We've seen that. But then, is that kind of like, when you hear that, you go, well, Yeah, I want to put them into
I
fights.
definitely match tougher than other promoters, no question. I definitely match tougher.
Has that changed for you over the years? Have you progressively?
I don't want shit fights. I don't want fans to watch shit fights. I don't want to do a show where I look at the card and I go, that's a shit card. I want to look at the card and go, what a great night of boxing. Because I've got to sell it. And you've got to be excited. And the only way you're going to be excited, if I'm excited, you're excited. And if you're excited, I'm excited. And if it's a shit fight, you're making a fight, and it's a easy fight. Who wants to watch that shit? I don't. The aim's not to get a fighter beat, but if you ain't good enough, you'll lose. But Devin should also understand that we match-made all of his fights on the way to a world championship, and we did it perfectly.
What do you make of his fight coming with Brian Norman? Because do you know what? I heard a lot of comments. There was a video that research you saying him and Bill used to be more strategic, and now it's about the money. But would you say a fight with Brian Norman, although he's getting paid a lot of money, it's a fucking dangerous fight?
It's a dangerous fight. When I said it's about the money now, it's not a disrespect to Devin. He's not chasing legacy in the same way he was when he started his journey. That's because he's become poisoned with the sport and he's become poisoned by the money. It happens to everybody. It's not a comment about Devin. And after what happened to him in Ryan Garcia, he would have lost a lot of love for the game, not the sport, the game.
You
right?
get that though.
Yeah, of course. Everybody does. But I feel like what happened to him against Ryan Garcia was harsh. The response was harsh. And he probably thought to himself, do you know what? Fuck trying to please people and fuck trying to give me the money. So the Brian Norman fight's got a bit of both. He's got good money and he's got a chance to become a 3-division world champion. It's a very good fight and it's a dangerous fight. But it's a fight I expect Devin to win.
You know what? You've never been one, I suppose, over the last year to really get to in your feelings about relationships. I think you're past that point of, if someone comes, they can go, no problem, I've done my best by them. But that Devin one, he was like, at the start when you were doing the US stuff, I know you had other fighters, but it was a big coup for you. And you brought him to a certain point, and he always at certain times said, look, Eddie Hearn's done unbelievable, I've just got to go do this at top rank. We'll work together again. You did, had the program on. Do you envisage working with a guy like Devin again, or is...
Probably not. I mean... Devin has become a little bit poisoned by the sport. Like, sometimes what you've got to do is you've got to just look at what someone's done for you. And when I look at what we did for Devin, we did the most beautiful job for Devin Haney. Paid him a fucking fortune, even when he wasn't selling. And we built him, and he did brilliant as well. But then he had to leave because they blocked us from being involved. Not him, but Ludabella, Aram and everybody blocked us from being involved, and then Aram signed Haney, and that was it. So at that point, but I don't, the one thing I always remember about Devin is he called me when he was off. His contract was up, but Bill didn't really want to call me, and Bill was nowhere near as loyal as Devin was, but Bill's Devin's dad, and he's got to do what's best for him, and I understand the game. But Devin called me and said, listen, I'm in a bit of a problem now. I don't want to leave you guys. But I've got this up. They're telling me if I stay with you, and I knew that they weren't lying, if I stay with you, I'm not going to get the fight. And I said, take the fight. Yeah. He's like, of course, he was going to, but he wanted to hear that from me, and I respect that. So over the years, it's been a bit sad because it's like, interview question and things get spun and you see headlines and stuff like that, but I've never, I'll always be there for Devin if he needs something, and I hope he can look back and go, those guys did a great job for me.
You mentioned doing a good job for him. You often talk about the Darren Barkers, the Tony Bellews of the world, about the kind of deals you had, and Dillian White back in the day. You always used to say to Dillian, we work fight by fight. It was never like a year, 5-year contract, 5-fight contract in place. What sort of, aside from your AJs and your Katie Taylors, what's been sort of, do you think, the best short form deal, or the one where you've gone, you know what, we've taken a little bit of a chance here and it's had the biggest success? Which one would you say?
I think early on we didn't really have those long form contracts, Froch, Barker, Brooke, Bellew, but I trusted, boxing's become polluted with a lot of managers who don't know a great deal about the sport and don't really give a shit about relationships, or what a promoter has done for a fighter. So when I'm talking about those people like Darren Barker and Tony Sims, I have never needed and still would never, but we don't work like that anymore. So there's always a contract. But I trust Darren, I trust Tony, and once we agree a deal, I don't expect them, and I truly believe they wouldn't do me dirty. Carl Froch and particularly Rob McCracken, same. Kell Brook and his dad, his dad, people say his dad's a bit slipperier than the other guys I mentioned, but I always found him to be, that they were, and then Bellew, solid as they come, and the people that he had around him advising him, solid as they come, and that's just, it was naivety from me, and no one really proved me wrong.
Are you more wary now when you go into meetings with fighters, especially say if you see a new fighter or just signed from the Olympics, like maybe an Amari Jones obviously was fighting on this, and you look at the people who are around him and managing him, is your guard always up now because you've had these experiences?
I never look at the fighter, I look at the people around him. And most of the time I look at them, I go, what the fuck do you know about boxing? And you want to come in and take 15% of what? Without sticking a penny in, without really caring for the fighter, you're just skimming money. So I like to be talking to the fighter. Now, don't get me wrong, the manager, no problem, but the manager infiltrates the mind of a fighter and says, no, you don't do that, don't worry about that. Whereas actually, what I like is the ability to sit down with a fighter, talk about their career, and every fighter watching this should understand, be in those meetings. Yeah? No manager will ever want you in a meeting. Ever. Be in those meetings. As a fighter, say to your manager, I want to sit down with the promoter and you, and I want to hear the plans. The manager will go, what?
I can't believe they don't do that anyway.
They end up like a manager fighters are very loyal people, right? In general. Once someone's around them all the time, they lean on them and they believe that their path is right. And there's some great managers out there, by the way, but there's a lot of shit managers and a lot of managers you just can't trust. Shouldn't even be working in boxing. But as a fighter, every now and again, because there's been managers before, I've gone, let's have a meeting. I want to explain what we're doing. No, they don't want you to do it. They don't want you to get a relationship with a fighter. I deal with him. No. What he's trying to do is he's trying to have a meeting with you so he can, talk you into something. No. I just want you to understand my plan. And together, we're going to go to the top. Not, I've got to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the fighter. I'll talk to you together, but I want him to be in a room or her to be in a room and make sure they know what we are doing for them.
Last two, just quickly, Chantel Cameron, Sandy Ryan. A bit going because I think there's a bit of needle there for that, and it would have had a great narrative. So
Chantel Cameron, Sandy Ryan is one of the best fights in boxing, and I was thinking it's got needle, it's got everything, and then I was really shocked today to see Chantel Cameron relinquish the world title. I don't know, maybe they've got another fight or another plan, but I was gutted. I mean, Sandy will go on and fight for the world title, which is great for her, but I was really expecting. A great fight.
You posted a few weeks ago with Turki Al-Sheikh about a deal that will, shake the world, etc. Is there further announcements to come out regarding a deal you've done with Turkey and Saudi? Is there plans 5v5 and other things like that?
Part of the announcement, of course, was the extension of the sponsorship contract, the new 167 snooker tournament, which will be back in November, a new darts event, the first time darts has ever been in Saudi Arabia, and there's lots more to come.
Are you doing a 5v5 again?
Not at the moment, no. I want it. Give me a chance. Give me a chance to run it back.
Pleading. Cheers, Eddie. I appreciate it.
The revolutionary ankle lock system. An integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.